So hopefully Instagram lets me do this live today because it is not happy with me and causing me lots of issues when I try to do lives. Hopefully Natasha's going to join us any minute now from This Girl Can Birth. Definitely looking forward to hearing her 2 home birth stories. Yay! Just hit request and I'll let you in. Let's go. Is it letting you in? Possibly not. Yay! Hi!
Hiya, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Really good. Feeling
Good.
really good.
Thank you so much for doing this very impromptu, last minute get
It's all
together.
good.
So I'll just introduce who I am so that anyone that watches this back and isn't aware, they know who we are. So my name is Natalie Abouche, Nat your doula. I'm a pregnancy, birth and postnatal in-person and virtual doula. I have invited Natasha or Tash, what do you prefer?
Whatever.
Right, we'll go with Tash. I've invited Natasha to come and chat to us today because Natasha has 2 wonderful birth stories to share. She also works to support women, their partners, their families and babies. So over to you, Tash, if you want to explain who you are, what you do, and then you can start wherever you want to start with preconception or the birth or whatever you want to start with.
It's such a big topic, isn't it? You could talk about so much.
So many hours.
Honestly, I don't even think an hour is enough, but I'm going to try and be really on the ball with all of this. So
Do you know
I,
what? If we get to only the first birth, it's fine. We can end it after an hour and come back and do it the second birth another day. We'll just see how
yeah,
it goes.
yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So I'm based in Leicester and I own a yoga studio known as Hot Pod Yoga. It's a franchise and we teach hot yoga there. But what I've also started to do since my firstborn is teach pregnancy yoga. And the reason I do it is not just to teach pregnancy yoga, but I know that pregnancy yoga or prenatal yoga is one of the most recommended things that midwives, doctors, everyone will actually recommend
I
pregnant
do.
women to
Yeah.
do this. So whilst I was pregnant with my first, I got hooked on birth, and I'll explain how and why in a moment. But whilst I was pregnant, I actually did my prenatal yoga teacher training and my doula training, not to actually become a doula and be present at birth because I knew I wasn't gonna have the time for that whilst I'm breastfeeding and all that kind of stuff, but just to have even more information because I just
Amazing.
cannot stop learning about it even now. And I'm sure you're the same and everyone's the same that gets into
Yeah, it's
birth.
addictive, isn't it?
Absolutely addictive. Anything birth related, I'm there. And what I found was it was hard to get this information across to pregnant women. How am I going to get pregnant women to actually come and get this information? Well, if they're coming to a yoga class, I can weave it in. So my pregnancy yoga classes are not just pregnancy safe sequences. They're just so much more than that. I'm teaching anatomy, I'm teaching empowerment, I'm
Yeah.
guiding them through visualizations of them, catching their own baby and pulling them to their chest. We're going so much deeper than that, and helping them to connect with their lineage, with their ancestors, their grandparents, and it's just been so powerful. And I've had women come to my classes telling me, I think I'm going to go for an elective C-section, and then by the end of their pregnancy, actually they've had a complete paradigm
Oh,
shift and have
brilliant.
gone on to have a vaginal birth. And this is like, when I mean, we've had so many VBACs as well come through, and I'm working with a local midwife. She will not like me saying this, but she retired from midwifery, but she is not retired. She is still going.
Still going,
So
fight and
she's still
fight.
going. Yeah, she's well known in locally, but I think on Instagram too. You might know her. Her name is Down to Earth Jackie. Do you know that name?
Not sure.
Have a look.
Mm.
She's so wisdomous. She's amazing, and um you know, sits on the same side as us with all of this. And I have the absolute honour of having to offer birth workshops alongside my pregnancy classes. So my girls get to also come
Mm.
for next to nothing, sometimes just a tenner, bring their partners along, do partner workshop stuff, and
Right.
ask any questions. So we've seen like a massive, we've had some great results. And
Mm.
that's what I'm doing at the moment because I'm not in a place in my life where I can actually attend any births.
But what you are doing is so important. So
Yeah.
important. It's
And
not
I
just
think, yeah,
about being at a birth, is it? It's the education, like you say, the connecting to their lineage,
yeah,
the remembrance of what they can do or who they are. It's just so important. And that's
yeah.
why you're seeing those C-section plans become vaginal births.
Yeah, I mean, I think like there's with any arena, with any kind of category or topic, there's always a different place for people to sit in. And if everyone was doulas or everyone was birth
Mm.
keepers, it's who bridges the gap. And I think there is actually such a bigger conversation on how can prenatal yoga teachers help bridge that gap? How
Mhm.
can we signpost? Because I have people saying, "Oh, make a video on this or make a video on that," and I just think those videos are already out there. I can point you to some well edited, great informational videos. There's no
Mhm.
need for me to regurgitate this. If anything, I'd love to just signpost to what's already there, and especially when women are coming to like, yeah, they're coming to move better. They want to feel better, but I'm trying to show them that it's not just about feeling better physically and avoiding PGP or you know, alleviating PGP, but it's also about almost unlearning, unbecoming through your pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love it when I see that happen. All of a sudden, these girls will come in each week with a new question, and when I see some of the ones that are coming in with more questions, and I'm like, you're on it. You're on
They
that
get it.
train. Yeah.
Amazing. What a lovely offering you have for the women in your community. It's fantastic.
I would like to see more of it now. I think that's something that I want to lean into soon is almost topping up, you know, yoga teachers' prenatal yoga qualification with birth education. And I think
Mhm.
because like I said, I've had some women come and they say, "Oh, I've done some pregnancy yoga before, but it wasn't like this." And I said, "What do you mean?" And they said, "Oh, it was just safe. It was pregnancy safe, but there wasn't actually much talk of the baby. There wasn't much talk of the birth," which I find interesting because that's to me what it's all about.
That's why they're doing it. That's the end
Right.
goal, right? To have a good
Yeah.
experience. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And also to liken it to birth. So if there's an uncomfortable position, how can you breathe through that discomfort? And that's something I learned in my first birth. From my first birth is there was a point in my first birth that I was almost running away from the discomfort, and actually it was where I needed to be.
Mm, yeah, I get that. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So birth
What happened next?
stories. um, so I'll start with where I think most people will resonate, which was how did I actually envisage myself giving birth before I was pregnant? And it was the same as everyone else. When I was younger, I used to watch the dreaded One Born Every
Don't
Minute.
say it. Don't say it. We do not mention those words here.
Oh my God. Like to think there was a time where I loved that program.
Oh, me too. I was addicted to it. I
I loved
watched it the whole
it.
way through my
I was
pregnancy.
like, I used to think, I wonder if my future partner would want to be on this program with me.
Yeah. Oh, I used to
Now,
watch it and think, I'd love to be a midwife.
yes, I did think about that. And then I used to think, look at them all running down the corridor. Look, I
Mm,
used to be in awe that they would
me
run
too.
down the corridor. And now I'm thinking, why are you running? Because in
Yeah.
these videos they were running for no reason. Like I've watched them now just to kind of look back on it with the information I have now, and I just think, oh my God.
You cringe.
I just can't believe it. But it just shows you how your mind can change.
Yeah.
And I think
I
I
think
only ever saw one birth that was really nice.
I
Just
don't remember
one.
seeing any nice births when I think back. And
Yeah.
I think I've seen like every episode ever. I
Yeah.
used to hunt on YouTube to watch the ones that I couldn't get on TV. But I
Yeah.
think one born every minute is perfect if you want that standard hospital birth, because
Mm.
one born every minute will show you literally what you're going to get,
Yeah, if you're
step by
happy with
step.
what you see on
Yeah,
there, then yeah, you'll be all right.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I think once I got pregnant, I had this very strange feeling, which was, I remember my husband like, okay, when are we gonna register this pregnancy? And I just went, I kind of don't want to. I was like, I
Mm,
kind of just want to be pregnant. He was like, what? And I did not have any, I had not researched anything about birth. I hadn't touched the topic, but I just had this innate feeling that I just wanted to be pregnant in private and I just wanted to do it alone. And I
mhm,
said, I know it sounds crazy because at the time it was crazy to us.
mm,
And he was like, oh no, I don't know about that. I said, all right. I said, let's register it. I don't want him feeling any kind of way, as a lot of people are kind of swayed by their partners as well. Um, and as soon as I did that, I'm someone who likes to have all the information, so I started looking up like what do these appointments entail. I just thought, let me find out a bit about birth, and then I saw a documentary on Amazon Prime called The Business of Being Born,
aha,
and
eyes opened.
that was the gate. That, and I recommend every pregnant woman watches it.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
it's old, but it's still relevant.
Mm.
And it's based in America, but it's still relevant. And it's got Ricky Lake in it. We all love a bit of Ricky
And
Lake,
she's lush.
right?
Yeah.
She's cool. Um, so yeah, that opened my eyes, and I watched it again recently, again now having learnt what I've learnt and realizing the top dogs that she had in that documentary. Because at the
Mm.
time I saw these people talking, I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
Now I know who they are. It's even more powerful.
Mm.
And that just got me questioning. So but after that, I'm still learning about birth. I'm still looking at birth. And eventually, I started to find podcasts. And I found a podcast from a woman called Felicity. She's a birth keeper. Um, and I heard this term birth keeper. So I started looking for one close to me because I did look at maybe a private midwife. And then I was like, but they're still got their protocols and stuff. I don't want that. And I looked, and then I found Angela, who was on your Instagram live the other day.
Mm.
And I saw that she was a little bit further away. I'm in Leicester, she's in like Warsaw. And I just messaged her like, look, if you can't look after me in Leicester, could you point me in the direction of someone who can? And when she took my postcode, she was like, actually, you're within an hour of me, I can do it.
Great.
Um, and then we met very early on in my pregnancy, and she came with books and a rebozo, and these books I had In Your Own Time, Am I Allowed? I
Oh,
had,
yeah.
I think, Ina May Gaskin. I had all
My favourites.
yeah,
Yeah.
all the good stuff. And trust me, I read those books. I read them back to back. And then
Mm.
I started to feel a little bit sad for everyone who didn't have the time to do all the research I was doing. I run a yoga studio. I'm self-employed. My husband works with me. We're both at home. We're not running around doing a 9 to 5. And I just thought, I'm learning all of this because I have the time. If I had a 9 to 5, I wouldn't be able to do this, and I would be relying on my midwifery appointments that are like a few minutes long for this information. And I soon realized that even if you got some information, it wouldn't be the full picture, right? So I was kind of going into my midwife appointments almost feeling like ready to fight, and I hated that feeling. And
Mm.
fortunately, I didn't have to. Like, I've been really lucky with the midwives that I did
Good.
have in the surgeries. But with the first one, I got lost in the in the system. By like 36 weeks, I just stopped hearing from the home birth team.
Oh,
Um, and I was like, this is a blessing in disguise. I'm gonna lap this up because I know I'm gonna go past 40 weeks and I'm not gonna have any problems. I'm not gonna have anyone pressuring me for induction or anything like that. And at that in that birth, I had planned already to basically only have Angela and my husband present, and only call them if I absolutely wanted them to be there, which I didn't think I would want them there anyway. I wasn't planning on using gas in there. I wasn't planning on using anything else that they would bring. So I just wanted Angela's wisdom, and that's where me and my husband had actually come to that agreement was, okay, we won't do this alone for our first one, which yeah, looking back, like for your first one, especially like have someone there, like always have someone there that knows what they're doing to hold the space and also to hold space for him because I,
Absolutely, yeah.
I needed him to be that calm, calm birthing partner. And Angela held that for him because she was that watchful eye with all the knowledge and she can see and she's very careful and she's not um I think in this realm you can get kind of radical about some stuff and be like, no, blanket ban on hospitals, blanket ban on medication. She's
Yeah,
not like that. She's
absolutely.
she's real and she will spot if there's an issue. Oh, should we be heading out? And be honest with me. And that's what I wanted in a birth keeper. So
And can I just say that's why I'm doing Angela's birth keeping course, even though I'm already a trained
yeah,
doula,
yeah,
because she is like that
yeah,
and it reflects through the course.
yeah. And yeah, I think that's the way to go, is not to be any kind of one way. Always there's a place for everything, as we know. And
Yeah.
even in my birth plan, like I put on my Instagram story for this birth, for the second one, I was explaining to my followers, my prenatal yoga students, that I do have a plan for if I was to go down the C-section route. I have a plan for all of it. I'm at peace with all of the avenues, all of my preferences for each avenue and how it changes should the birth evolve those ways. And that is where I feel that it helps you to avoid that postpartum depression and
Yeah.
trauma if you have visualized all these things, like I visualized, if I'm going out of this building, I'm on the third floor in my apartment building, I'm going down on all fours, am I doing this?
Hmm.
How are they going to get me out? I've visualized the whole thing so that nothing comes as a surprise to me.
Yeah.
And I think that came from having a good birth keeper that taught me to do that, because you could be so excited and so confident and so passionate about birth that you only think about your home birth and you only think about your
Yeah.
unmedicated, vaginal
I
birth. And
hear it
then,
often. People say,
yeah,
I'm not, no, I don't want to look at a plan B or plan C, plan D's. I'm having a vaginal home birth or a free birth or whatever.
yeah, yeah,
Or even people that I support people that have C-sections as well. I'll go as like a birth partner sometimes. And even those people are like, I'm having my C-section. I don't want to look at the possibility of a spontaneous labor. I'm like, no, listen, this is why you need to do it. Because
yeah,
if that happens, whatever plan you've got can go out the window and it can go that way and you want it to go that way.
yeah, yeah,
If you haven't, even if you don't write it down, have all of the conversations remembered in your head. So talk about it with your partner, talk about it with your midwives or your doula, your birth keeper, so that when you've had all those conversations, if you steer left, you have that level of acceptance where you can go, right, well, actually, it's still kind of my plan, right? Because we've
yeah,
spoken about all of this.
yeah,
And like you say, not going to come away with it and think, fuck that. I
yeah,
didn't get
yeah,
anything that I wanted and be really
yeah,
angry
yeah,
about it potentially. But
yeah.
sorry, go on.
And
It's not
it,
about me.
well, it's either that, like that kind of visualizing the different routes, or the ability to be so present, which a lot of us don't have because of the way our lives are. Um, and it's very much like life. Like life takes you on all sorts of twists and turns. You can have a plan mapped out for the year, and best believe it ain't going that way. You've got to be able to adapt on the spot. And I think in birth, we're in a very vulnerable position. A lot is going on, and especially the first one. It's
Yeah,
it's it's new. It's very
yeah.
new, and that kind of leads me on to like my first one, and how it all went down. I remember Angela going, I think it's going to be super quick, because the the way that I was going about my studying and my research, it probably felt like it could easily go that way. And being a yoga teacher and being mobile, being fit,
Yeah.
being healthy, and all that stuff, it can feel that it could just swim out of me. Um, but actually, it was really long. I think Angela got like two parking tickets. It was like that's still lingering. It was 26 hours long, this first one, I didn't feel, I felt that it was long, but it didn't feel that long to me. It was like a time warp.
That's
Um,
pretty standard for a first birth as
yeah,
well.
yeah. I
Mm.
mean, my mum said her one with me was 19 hours. And now, with what I know, I just think a lot of it is there's like an inner resistance that from maiden to mother, there's the change in your body, the way that you feel as the head is really low or starting to crown, or even the pushing. And it can all feel like your body actually starts to go, oh no, no, don't don't do
Not
that.
sure if I'm ready to do
Yeah,
this.
yeah. And I also had a lot of information, all new information, really. I only learnt it in those 9 months.
Mm.
It hadn't really integrated, it hadn't settled. It's a lot of information for a new mum to have, and almost kind of too much information because I'm there
Mhm.
analysing it like a midwife.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I'm saying to my husband, is there a purple line? Can you check my bum? Take a picture of the purple line. I'm
Was there a
ordering
purple line?
and anyone watching this is that doesn't know, they're like, what's a purple line? Look it up.
Go look it up. Message me, I'll tell you.
um Honestly, I'm there going, look at the purple line, is there a diamond on my back, and all this kind of stuff. And it's just so funny. And he afterwards he was like, you're obsessed with that purple line.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was just fascinated, and I wanted to know if these signs were presenting on my body
And I guess also
externally.
you touched on it earlier about the unlearning. So you were unlearning the whole vaginal exams.
Yeah.
How many centimeters dilated are you? So you're trying to get that information out of your brain and realize, well, I don't actually need that. But still, in your mind somewhere, you still wanted to know, am I dilating?
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
need to know, is there any signs on the back of me somewhere that
yeah,
tells me? So you still
yeah,
kind of have, so that we can unlearn that information, but we still might have something in our brain ticking, going, well, no, I want to know. I just don't want it to be this way. I need to
yeah.
know
Because
still.
I think like most, like, you hear it a lot. Most women are in denial that they're even in labor. You're like, am I
Mhm.
really? Am I just pretending? Am I overreacting
Is
here?
this
What
false
is
labour?
this real? Um, but that one, it was interesting because I think it was like on the 14th of February. This is in 2024. So she's just turned 2. 14th of Feb, we're going to bed, and I'm starting to have what I thought were Braxton Hicks. I'm having like the tightenings and stuff.
Mm.
And I just said to Joe, do you know what? I think we should go bed. I think we should go bed and get an early night. So we go to bed, and then they're happening more frequently. And I'd already agreed with Joe. If they're happening frequently, I want you to time them. I'm not going to time nothing.
Mhm.
If you want to time them. I'm not going to get fixated on that. And I
Mhm.
told him he's the one that's in communication with Angela. I'm just going to be in my own world.
Right.
So I've never, when I watch birth videos and I see the woman contracting and on the phone to the midwife, I'm like, what's this guy doing? Why isn't he on the phone?
Drives me mad. I've been at births and they're like, I call the midwife. They're like, can you put a mum on the phone? I'm like fuck, can I?
No,
Well, she's having a
she's
baby.
busy. She's busy. So yeah,
Take my
I've
word
always
for it.
said Joe's, that's anything else is Joe's job. My job is here with what I'm doing. So
Mhm.
um yeah, he was kind of like timing stuff, and he'd told Angela like in the middle of the night, she's going through these contractions, they're getting quite close and stuff. um but I said to Joe, you know what, we're probably going to be doing this through the night. I said, leave her alone, let her sleep, and she can come in the morning, which is what happened. But I think we got in the zone too early. We didn't sleep. I was, laboring through the night, and Angela got to us about 10 in the morning of the 15th of Feb. And, I'm in and out of the pool. Um, Things slowed down, then they sped up, things slowed down, then they sped up. I'm going from the shower to the tub to all fours, poppy pose. We have a mattress on the floor, so it was quite nice. Everything was dark. We have blackout curtains. I had my music. And just to cut a long story short, this just went on for hours and hours. But then at some point in the night, my body started doing the fetal ejection reflex, and I could see it in this big mirror that I had. I could see my muscles in my abs like pushing
Wow.
down. And part of me was like, no, 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 no. And I just remember saying to them, the baby's not low enough yet. And looking back, I'm like, what was I on about? Because this time round, everything felt the same, but I just went with it.
Mm.
But in that one, I was like, the baby's not low enough yet. They're like, what do you mean? I said, it doesn't feel like the baby's there to be pushed out, right? It feels like the baby's still up here.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, Angela and my husband did say that there was kind of like a lump on my back, almost as if the baby was in a different position. So they did get me on my left side with the sideline release off my bed.
Okay, yeah.
And it was really uncomfortable. I kept going into puppy pose, and Angela was like, "You look a little bit comfortable there, a little bit too comfortable there." So I was on that sideline release. It was absolutely atrocious. I hated that position. So they massaged my legs and everything, got me to relax, and eventually I relaxed there. And she was like, "I'm just going to leave you be. I'm going to go in the living room. Joe, you carry on massaging her." And this was again another reason why I loved having a birth keeper. For the most part, like Angela kind of was in the living room watching Friends and would like pop in every now and then,
Yeah.
and only when we wanted her to come in. So me and Joe got to have dance, we got to have a kiss and just have a nice time together. Um, and during that massage and the sideline release, all of a sudden I remember going, whoa, 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 something's changed. And then he was like, "What's happened?" I went, "Stop massaging me." And then I got off, like started kind of crawling off the bed. My waters go, and that's when my waters broke, was midway through the labor, and then the contractions started getting stronger and stronger, and I can only liken it to the same feeling as when you're vomiting, but downwards. It's that
Can't
same
control
kind of,
it.
yeah, it's just your body just goes
Yeah.
but downwards. And I was like, wow. And obviously my head's going, this is that. Oh, your
Mm.
water's gone, you haven't got that cushioning, this is going to be more intense. Da, 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 da. So this
Damn all
extra
that
knowledge,
education.
I know, I was kind of like, oh, shut up. It was kind of going on in my head.
Mm.
Um, and then I had, an experience that was just so kind of like spiritual that I never expected. I was I was just kind of I was really inwards. I don't remember who was around, what time it was. My head's just kind of, moving around. And then I had these visions of myself, former versions of myself at different stages in my life, like a teenager and this and it was versions of myself that I think was at times where I felt shame around. And there was this voice saying, tell each one that you're okay, like forgive her, like move on, forgive these versions of yourself. And I'm just like pouring in tears. And I remember opening my eyes, and Angela and Joe were just there, just holding the space and just so quiet. And then the tears went away and everything just started to move on after that. And I'm just thinking, what on earth just happened?
I
Like,
wonder
I
if that
just,
was, sorry, I wonder if that was kind of a sense of saying goodbye, like you say, forgive that person,
mm,
goodbye to the maiden.
yeah,
You will
yeah,
never be that person again.
yeah.
This soon to be mother. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a portal, and a part of you in that first one definitely has to die in order for you to give birth. And I knew I was giving birth to a girl, not from a gender reveal. I just knew,
Mm.
and that meant a lot to me. Um, I have a big story in my past. I say it's a big story, not so much anymore. I don't make it that big, but I did waive my anonymity to help other women, and I think that kind of also led me to do birth the way that I do it and not have cervical exams and stuff, because I went through sexual abuse in my family and with my dad, and being a girl, and helping women and having a daughter, all these things just mean so much to me. And I knew I was having a girl, and I knew who I would have to become to be a mother to that girl. um After that, things started to speed up, and I remember just thinking to myself, I need a mantra. I need a mantra. And the mantra that kept going through my head was, the safest place for this baby to be born is at home. The safest place for this baby to be born is at home. Because at some point you get to this point where you're like, is this baby ever coming out of me?
Mm.
And it's very easy, especially in transition, to think, do you know what? Save me, get me out of here. I need some help.
Yeah.
but I wanted to stay true to what I believed in, which was the safest place for this baby to be born is at home, and that's what I firmly believe still. And I remember just grabbing Joe, going like, right, we're doing this now. Looked at the pool, and I was just like, I cannot be bothered to get back in there again
Too
because
much
it's so
effort to lift my
hard.
leg up.
I know, and I'm only 5 foot as well, so it's like it's so much harder. Um, so I just put my knees on the end of the mattress and I'm holding on to Joe. I'm digging my head into his chest. Angela's behind, like, and we laugh back at this now because Angela came in this lovely, pretty dress, looking gorgeous. And I remember when she came in, I just thought she looks like an angel that's come to save me.
Yeah.
And my husband at the end was like, Angela, you didn't expect to be here this long and doing what you're doing, because she was like a mechanic underneath with a torch,
Yeah.
um, and filming the birth for me as well, because that's what I wanted. I wanted to see the baby come out. And by this point, we're 26 hours in. My legs are shaking. I hadn't eaten much. I tried to eat some. My husband's feeding me honey throughout just to give me something. He was like, stand, babe, stand. It's the best position that you've been in. That's the best that things have progressed. I'm like, I can't. So I went on my knees and I committed. And I think that's the difference. I committed to what my body was asking for, and I let that happen. And he was guiding my breathing. He's a yoga teacher as well, so that helps.
Amazing.
Um, and guiding my positioning of my knees and my feet. And baby comes out, and we had such a beautiful time. No rush for the placenta. I think it took like an hour and 20 minutes, but we didn't even know until we looked at the photos.
Mm.
Um, we were just talking about the birth. We were talking about her name and where it came from, and smelling her hair, and just reflecting on the birth and how long it was and all of that kind of stuff. And had the beautiful time of getting into bed that feels really nice after a home birth.
Yes.
Um, and after that, I thought, oh my God, that was really intense. And I'm glad that I had that experience, because had I had that really smooth, quick, efficient experience like I had this time, I think I wouldn't have had the understanding what women feel and go through in childbirth as well, especially if I want to go into this line of
Yeah.
work in some way, you know.
Mhm.
So I'm really grateful for the intensity and for the experience of feeling it, because I still hold on to the fact that when people ask me, was it painful? No, it was intense, and
Mm.
it's not a sensation that you cannot handle. And I think the reason for that is because it was the natural contractions, because it comes with endorphins. it
Mhm.
it my body was designed to do this,
Yeah.
and I welcomed it.
Yeah.
um
And
However,
it's you that's doing it, isn't it? So
yeah,
how can it be something that you can't handle if it's literally your body
yeah,
doing it?
yeah, I I mean, I know that there was a time back in the day that I looked at birth the same way. Everyone kind of looks at birth from what we watch and what we
Mm.
see, and you see people, screaming. And I'm not saying don't make noise. I made noise, but there's a scream that you can hear fear in, and there's a sound that is just you connecting to what you need to do.
Yeah.
With the chakras and the low tones, and they just come out. Like, I can't even regurgitate. I couldn't even repeat them sounds now if you ask me to. They only come out in birth.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and like, since then, I'm just going to put my charger in. And since then, I thought, I wonder if my fascination for birth will like go away now that my baby's here. Will
Oh
I carry
no,
on in?
no chance.
What I think, once you've opened that box, that's it, isn't it?
Absolutely. You're
And
stuck with it now. There's no turning back.
I think once you've opened that box, that's it. And I actually, in the last 2 years, have come through a little bit of I like a transition as well with this topic, and you probably felt the same. You get this kind of anger almost, like,
Hmm.
with the way things are, um, and it's you're lost in, where can I change this? How can I change this? Times where you feel powerless in, how can I change this? And I think one statement that I always try and remember is, think globally, act locally.
Yes.
So, you know, just by the person next to you, or leading by example. So I'm not trying to convince anyone to do anything the same way I did, because, for example, with some of the girls that I work with, there are women who genuinely feel safer in a hospital setting
Mhm.
and would shit themselves if they were at home during
Yeah.
labour. And if that's the case, they won't labour at home because their body's too stressed out. They won't
Yeah,
dilate, you
absolutely.
know,
Yeah.
the physiology of labour won't come about.
They'll be the ones that say, I tried to have a baby at home and it was horrendous. Something went
Yeah,
wrong. I needed
yeah.
help or whatever. Yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely. I agree.
they absolutely should go to a hospital.
Mhm.
And in that case, I would just say, just know your shit. Just know the information that you need to know, because you need to be equipped and you need to know your options.
Mhm.
Um, it's you know, sometimes these professionals are also under pressure, under time pressure, and even just listening to Angela the other day, like I've never really heard someone talk out what it's like to be a midwife. Um, and I've never really thought about, oh my God, they've been through a whole birth and now they've got to go to another one.
Yeah.
I've been to one birth by accident. By accident. I wasn't planning to be there. And, you know, I came home and I cried because it was just,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
holding so much space, and I was just like, I don't know
It's,
how midwives
it's
do that
a
on a
killer. I
daily
mean,
basis.
you would have seen on Angela's chat, on the chat of Angela, sorry, I remember saying to her at one point, if I go to a birth that's say more than 12 hours, 20 hours, 36 hours, there is no chance in hell that I could even do another one within a couple of days. I have to come home and go through a whole ritual. I have to come home, take
Yeah,
all of my clothes off, throw them in the machine,
yeah,
scrub my skin, wash my hair, even if I washed it that same
yeah.
morning, wash my hair, take everything off, jewelry,
Sage.
everything. Oh my God. And
Yeah,
I have to lay in my bed and go, even if it
yeah,
was a beautiful birth, you
yeah,
know, the traumatic ones and the beautiful ones have exactly the same kind of really visceral reaction.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
no way. And listening to Angela talk about that, I'm really glad you said that, because listening to Angela talking about the midwife experience really opened my eyes to why certain things do happen and
yeah,
why people's experiences are the way they are in hospital. Don't get
yeah.
me wrong, I still think people should speak nicely to people and have more respect. But when you're that exhausted
Mm.
and it is draining, and I know for us, or for me as well, I might do 10, 12 births in a year. But these people are doing 10, 12 births a week.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Ooh.
it's mad. There's a lot. I mean, birth is very spiritual. There's a lot going on, and it's very, very deep, and it's very personal. It's very transformative, and that's happening constantly in these
Mm,
hospitals, and with these midwives going through so many of them. Like, yeah, I just can't imagine it.
yeah.
And I think I understand that they can't have this like continuity of care right now. It's really difficult. I mean, I'm seeing loads of student midwives around, but I asked the other day, like, where are they all going? Because I see all these student midwives, and they said there's no jobs, there's no funding
Yeah.
to actually, once they've finished, to actually become a midwife, which is really, really sad.
Because they're desperate for them.
Yeah, I mean,
They're funded.
and again, it's one of them things, like people have said to me, oh, I would love to have a birth keeper, but it's really expensive. But they've gone and spent that exact same money on a cot, right? That cot is, I've seen them in mamas and papas, they're like 2 grand, they're the price of a car. Or these travel systems with the push chairs and the this and the that. They could have not bought that and paid for a doula or a birth keeper,
Mm,
had more than likely no postpartum depression, no trauma, and a beautiful birth, and got your cot if you really want to use a cot, or your travel system off Facebook Marketplace, and it would have been exactly the same. And
that's
that would
amazing.
be my recommendation if you are pregnant,
I've had
ladies.
so many families say, "What's your fees?" I want to tell them, they go, "Oh shit," but they still work with me. And when I go and visit them in their home, they say, "Look at that picture I got off Facebook Marketplace. Look
Mm,
at that little travel system that I got from my next door neighbour."
yeah,
Because they understand that actually that stuff isn't really that valuable. You can just pick it up secondhand. It does
yeah,
the job. Whereas going into your birth, whether it's at home or in hospital,
yeah,
even if you're prepared mentally yourself, just not having someone there to advocate, to
yeah,
be your Angela
yeah,
is insane, I think,
No,
to not have that person.
it's absolutely priceless, and I'll explain again how priceless it is, even in this second birth. So, in them 2 years, I'm still learning. I'm still, and I'm learning more because I'm actually going to these birth workshops that I'm setting up myself. But I'm still listening. I'm still learning, and I'm learning from other people's birth experiences as well. So, I I'll hear birth experiences and I like to almost dissect it myself and think, how did it end up going down that way? And if that was to happen to me, how would I deal with it?
Mm.
And go through all, because there's just so many topics and there's so many things that can happen in birth that can steer it in another direction.
You
So I
can't
like
prepare
to
for all of them, can you?
no, you really can't. And one thing I will say to any woman who eventually learns that something in their birth that happened that didn't need to happen, like, don't feel bad about it, because the onus was never on you to have that information. You're not meant to have to get a midwifery degree while you're pregnant. You shouldn't have to.
Mhm.
And the amount of women that have gone, oh, I wish I did what you did. Oh, no, you shouldn't have to. This is the problem. Like,
Mhm.
it's lovely. I got to learn it and I'm so grateful. I'm really, really am so grateful. But I also wish I didn't have to do all of this learning, that I could just lean on the system that has been put in place to help guide me through my pregnancy and my birth. And unfortunately, that's not the case. So there are people like us now trying to do that. And again, that's why I do it through yoga, because I'm like, that's where they are being pointed to. They are
Mm.
being pointed to do yoga. So if I can weave that information in there, some will take it, some will not, and that's absolutely fine. Like, I'm not preaching to nobody, because there is no point.
Yeah.
I don't even really promote it all that much, to be honest. I've just kind of gone, universe, those who want to find this
Yeah.
will come.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's happened. Nice small little groups and communities. So I got pregnant again. Um
Quite a short gap then.
yeah, like, I mean, he was only born just over 2 weeks ago.
Oh
Um
wow.
yeah,
Oh
literally
very
just
good.
over 2 weeks ago he was born. Um at home again. And while I was pregnant, I went through all sorts of kind of feelings about the birth, even though I had this home birth experience, no drugs, no interventions.
Mm.
I mean, literally after that birth, I just text the midwives, hi, my name's Natasha. My baby's just been born at this time. We're going to have a nap. Can you come later on when I feel more fresh and weigh the baby? These are the things that I'm happy for you to do. These are the things I'm not happy for you to do. Cool. And just took control of the whole experience. And even though I had this experience, I still went into this one going, can I pull that off again? This
Was
voice in
that
my head
luck?
was like, yeah, because you get people say that it's luck. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, girls, a positive birth experience is not luck. We were not selected by somebody or
Hmm.
something to have a positive birth experience.
Hmm.
It is knowledge, and I say that kind of unfortunately, it's knowledge, because again, we shouldn't have to have it.
Yeah.
Um, we shouldn't have been programmed one way in the first place. We shouldn't even need to prepare for birth. We should just lean on our instincts, but we struggle with
Mm.
that nowadays. So we have to learn and we have to unlearn. There's just
Mhm.
so much to do in order to have this kind of experience. But what I did find as well is when I was trying to, or when I did share my positive birth experience, I was actually met with not very good a reception on it. I
Mm.
had people saying, "Oh, but what about my experience? My negative experience. Where's the place for that?" And I'm like, everywhere.
Literally
To
everywhere
be
you go.
to be honest, like, that's all I hear, and that's all I was bombarded with.
Yeah.
So actually, where's the place for the positive ones, and why is it being rejected? Because actually, what I'm sharing with you girls is good news. Good news that I'm not special. I haven't been made a special way that can do vaginal births at home. I know for a fact, if I didn't have Angela at my first birth and I had NHS midwives, they wouldn't have let me go on that long. I know they
Mhm.
wouldn't. They would have said, oh, wanted to check the heart rate, do this, do that, and go, oh, I think we need to go in, and planted that fear in my head. And
Wash the placenta
if
as
yeah, and
well.
if I didn't learn anything and I just went with, the system, I know things would have been very, very different. So that is proof to me that I'm not lucky, and it's not just because my body's a certain way and,
Yeah.
random
You're not the
selection.
chosen one, Natasha.
Not a chosen one, unfortunately, no. It can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
And so this time round, I could feel like some fears come up, and you have to face your fears in anything. And the fears that were coming up was that intensity that I was fighting against in my first labour.
Hmm.
So I always take to YouTube. There are some wonderful like YouTube channels of people that have gone through labour and have great tips of going through labour and all this kind of stuff. And I did a little bit of that. Did a bit more research on different things that can pop up in birth, such as meconium and your waters and all. And it's interesting because when you research these things, it's almost like those things then happen and then you feel equipped, right? So I was listening to a podcast that Angela sent me from the Great Rebellion podcast.
Melanie, yeah.
Amazing. She's amazing. And talking about meconium.
Hmm.
And I'm glad, because when my waters eventually broke with this one, there was a little bit. And if there was, again, midwives here, I'm pretty sure they would have been like, oh, shit, 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 and
Yep.
panicked, right? But I didn't, because I had seen the resources, I'd read the studies that came with the podcast, I'd spoken thoroughly with Angela through it, so I didn't panic. Now, with the second one, funny story, I'm really going to try and squeeze this in now. So this time round, I've got a lot going on in my business life, in my personal life, and we thought we were moving house, and then we're not moving house, so we didn't have a sofa. And my mum was like, "We need to get a sofa," so she ordered a sofa, and it was arriving on 4th of Feb. I had another really big appointment to do with business that was also on the 4th of Feb. So in my head, I'm like, 4th of Feb, 4th of Feb, got to get to this things on the 4th of Feb, and then this baby can come, even though he was due on the 27th of Jan. Now, the appointment comes, and just before this appointment, I'm going to view something basically, and I'm like, I really need a poo, but this poo ain't happening. And I go to toilet a few times, nothing's happening. So Joe's like, come on, let's just go. And my body was like, I said to Joe, I really don't want to leave the house. I really don't want to leave the house, but I'm going to go because I really need to go. So I'm
Oh
going.
no, your body was telling you something.
It was telling me to stay at home.
Yeah.
So luckily, this appointment was like a 30-second walk from my apartment, but it took me ages. I got there, I'm chatting to these guys that I'm having the appointment with. I know it's all very covert, that's on purpose.
That's
um,
right.
so I'm chatting to these guys, and in my head, I just saw the bridesmaid scene where they're all like shitting in the street. I was like, that's gonna be me. I was like, I'm gonna shit myself.
Oh
I'm
no,
really,
that's
I'm
so.
gonna, I was like, I'm gonna poo myself right here. So I was thinking of all the ways that I can leave. And eventually I went, look, guys, I've got to go. I said, I think I'm gonna have a baby. They're like, go, 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 go. So I leave. And I said to Joe, I went, babe, I'm gonna poo myself. I was like, I need to find somewhere quick. I was like, I need to go to that restaurant on the corner. So I get to the restaurant, I go toilet, I come out. He goes, any better? I was like, not really. I was like, not really. So I'm walking back home, and I'm waddling, like proper waddling, and I haven't waddled for the whole pregnancy.
Oh, baby was there.
And I see the Dunelm van. I see the Dunelm van outside our apartment building, and then I start crying. And he's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "It's all coming together. Everything's coming together now." And then I'm like, "But I can really feel a head. I'm sure that there's a head there." And I'm
Oh
like, "I'm
my
sure I'm
God.
gonna." I was like, "I'm sure I'm gonna have this baby in the street." And he's like, "Oh my God, let's get home." So we get home. Well, we get to the reception area. I see the Dunelm guy with the sofa by the lift, and Joe goes, "You go first." And he lets this guy go in the lift, and I see the number going up slowly. I'm having a contraction. I'm like looking at him, like,
Oh no, that is
doing my
not the
breathing.
right order.
I was thinking that's not like him. Why has he done that? But maybe he thought I wanted the sofa there first. I don't know.
So you can just go and cushion
Yeah.
it.
So I get there, the sofa's there, my mum's there, and she's like, "What's going on with you? Why do you look all dishevelled?" kind of thing. But as soon as the sofa was there, everyone left. Everything calmed down. Nothing was happening. And I was like, okay. Had a bath. Had a good cry in the bath about all sorts of things. Very hormonal. And then that night, I go to bed, and every night so far, my daughter had said, Santi, come out, because we're calling him Santino. She'd go, Santi, come out. And then this night, she said, baby coming out. And I looked at Joe and I went, I bet she's right. I said, let's go to bed. So we went to bed at 11. By 20 past 12, midnight, I wake up to water just leaking, like in the bed, like proper coming out. And I thought, am I dreaming? And I'm like, no, no, my waters have broke, but not with a pop, just seeped out of me. So I kicked Joe at the end of the bed because we all co-sleep. So I'm kicking him and I'm like, babe, my waters broke. And he was so sleepy. He was like, yeah. And I'm not painting a very good picture of him right now. He's absolutely amazing. Honestly, he is. Angela will tell you, he's literally an amazing birth partner, but he was just so tired. And I was like, my waters are broke, get me out of the bed. So he gets me out of the bed, my waters are gushing. I go to the bathroom and I'm thinking, oh God, my mum's going to be able to hear this. She's going to panic. Because the plan wasn't originally to have my mum in the birth space. I know some people want the mums there, but I thought she's going to panic. I go to the bathroom and I could see a tiny bit of meconium, like very light in the waters. But because I had done my research, I did not panic. I felt good. Baby felt good. We're all good. We're carrying on. So yeah, I started trembling though. And I think it was a bit of shock because I was so sleepy and I was so asleep. I wasn't expecting it to happen that way. And then I thought to myself, right, stick to the game plan, Tash. Don't do what you did before. Go to sleep. Pretend that this isn't happening. So we told Angela that the waters had broke, and I went back to bed, and I'm breathing through these contractions, and I'm thinking, yeah, cool, we're doing it, we're doing it. And then all of a sudden, I'm humming through these contractions, and I'm thinking, hold on, this is very early to need my voice. This is progressing quickly. And I said to Joe, I can't pretend to sleep anymore. Get me in the shower. Go in the shower. I said, get it hot for me. Guy burns my feet, proper burns my feet. So I had to get back out again. So I go back in, hot shower on my back. He was just half asleep at this point. And I'm
Wake
like,
up!
yeah, I know. He was proper, I'm like going through contractions going, get the Inco pass and get this and get that. And he eventually he did wake up and he was on it.
Good.
And then I can hear him chatting to Angela saying like, yeah, don't worry, same as last time, we'll probably ring you in the morning kind of thing. And then while I'm in the shower, my body starts to push. And I went, hold on, babe. I went, keep her there. I said, tell her to make her way. I said, my body's starting to push. He was like, push already? And I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know.
What can I do
I'm
about
I'm
it?
pretty sure it's about to push. Like, I even thought, really? So anyway, body starts pushing and I said, right, get me out. I went, dry me off. I want to try this TENS machine. I'd never tried it before. So I thought, I want to try it this time. So, and we did have a birth pool, but I was like, scrap that. We're not even going to get anywhere near that.
No, no
So
time.
yeah, I put my knees on the bath mat just outside the bath. I kneeled there. I said, grab me a pillow so I could lean on the side. We put the TENS machine on and I was pushing there. He kept Angela on the phone. Bearing in mind, my waters broke at 20 past 12. First contraction was about 12:30. This baby came out at 1:53.
Oh my
What
God!
on earth? I'm there thinking 6 hour labour, maybe like, something like that for my second birth. Not an hour and a half. An hour
That's,
and a half. And
I've never experienced that. That's unbelievable.
and the best part is I'm having these contractions and I'm in between, I'm saying to Joe, these feel really good. And I'm going through the contractions and I'm going, woo! Like I'm jamming
Wow.
to my music. And I didn't go into a portal. I didn't go inward. I was still
Okay.
present in between the contractions, which I found interesting. I was with him. I was aware. The lights were on because there's no way of dimming the bathroom ones. And I just said to him, like, you catch the baby, because I knew he wanted to do that the first time. And he was talking to me through it all. And he actually filmed it. So I've got this amazing video and it just looks so good because he had music on, so the music is playing through it and it's such a beautiful
Yeah.
video. And I do get to see the diamond shape
Oh,
in
you
my
did?
belly. I got to see it, yeah. I was like, yes. And my
Oh,
knees are in, my feet are out. I'm doing all the things that I know about, and that rhymed. And
yeah.
and it was, I was just enjoying every part of it. He'd asked for my best friend, to come round just to look after my daughter, because that was originally the plan. And she was actually arriving just as the head was out. And once the body came out, my husband was like, everyone come in, like, to my mom and my best friend, and they were there. And then it was just a matter of getting the placenta out, which came out in about half an hour.
Right.
um
Okay.
by the time Angela arrived, I'm breastfeeding Santino, placenta's in a bowl, and I'm eating Ben and Jerry's.
Oh, how
I
wonderful.
it was as good as I could expect a birth to go, and it was
Like a
so
dream.
enjoyable, honestly, so enjoyable. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
tear, it was, and I felt pretty normal, like, pretty much straight away. It was unbelievable. And I just couldn't, I'd been looking up the orgasmic birth stuff. I've been looked up that up, for
Yeah.
a couple of years now, but this was the closest I felt to it, you know,
Yeah.
and I get it. Like, the penny dropped.
Yeah.
It was absolutely unreal. And then Angela basically gave me a shower. I felt like a poodle getting,
Oh,
getting looked
how
after.
lovely.
And tucked me up in bed. And then Joe made me my placenta smoothie, which I had in the last birth, and I always feel good with them, and it just was the best fuel straight after birth. And
Yeah.
that post-birth calm and all the good stuff, it just felt amazing. I was buzzing for days, I could hardly sleep. And
Yeah. Hi. Wow.
it was just absolutely incredible. And just when we're like, oh, we're not going to have a baby for a few years, it made me want to have another one next week. I was like, I could do this weekly.
Do you feel well during your pregnancies as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I don't get sickness. I get,
Mm.
like, I feel sick at smells,
Yeah.
but the worst symptom I have is heartburn. I would say that's the
Okay.
worst one I have.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I feel good in my pregnancies.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel
Great.
really good. But yeah, these births, absolutely amazing. But I would say what the difference was between the two for me: one, the knowledge had integrated, it had settled in my
Mm.
bones, and I didn't have to retrieve the information. Um, it was like
Just
embedded in
part of
me.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the trust in birth was embodied, you know.
Mm.
It wasn't new information, but also this time I told myself fully, lean into all the sensations, welcome it. Every time one contraction stopped, I was asking, I wanted another one.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh.
bring on the next one. I need it. I want it. That is the only way, like, to the end of this is through it. And there was something in a video by a woman who does a YouTube channel called Girl Teach Me. I don't know if you've seen it.
I know.
She's had 6 natural, I think, all home births.
Okay.
American kind of country accent, proper cool. And she's like baking bread in labor and stuff. She was amazing. And
Damn, this
uh,
woman made me look
I know,
useless.
I know, I know, and I was like,
And make sure I'm
wow.
not in labour.
Honestly, I just don't cook. I'm like, cooking.
Bread.
But she was saying something like, be a bull, not a cow. And I think she got it from the Bible or something. She said, like, or it was a story that cows run away from the storm, so they're in the storm longer, whereas bulls run into the storm, so they're in it for
Taste
less
it.
time. And that
Ah,
really stuck in my head. And I felt like that really played itself out in this last birth, because I had that resistance in
yeah.
the first birth, that kind of new mum resistance, like, oh my God, my body's ripping. Whereas this one, I was like, no, my body's stretching, it's fine, relax, breathe, really trust it. Um, and Joe was like, orgasmic breathing, orgasmic breathing. And he was
Yeah.
breathing with me. And the breath we were doing for the pushing was kind of like a, and that really that one worked really, really well.
Right, okay.
Really, really well.
Right, I'm going to have to go
Um,
back and remember that and note it for other people.
orgasmic breathing, guys.
Yeah, okay.
Amazing.
Wow. What a story. Oh my
Ready.
goodness.
I don't know what's going to happen in the next one. Like,
Oh, I love that you're talking about the next one.
it will be a few years. It will be a few
Okay.
years now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, two under three now. That's a lot, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's a lot. It's a lot.
yeah.
So, how's your postpartum couple of weeks so far been for you?
Yeah, beautiful. Really, really nice.
Good.
Enjoyable. I think the hardest thing was just navigating breastfeeding. I'm still breastfeeding the 2-year-old as well. And
Mm.
just like managing her expectations and making sure that she still feels like included. And we've done that really well, I think. You know, she was asleep through the labour, but she woke up at 3 in the morning and saw him. And I've got this really nice picture of them both breastfeeding. The placenta's there.
Oh
I'll
God.
send you the picture after. You'll
Please
love it.
do.
You'll love
Oh
it.
my God.
Um, and it was a really emotional time when that happened because she held his hand, and he's literally just been out of the womb not long, and we were all just in awe at that moment. Angela even mentioned it, saying like it was one of the most beautiful things she'd ever seen, and it was just amazing.
She probably felt connected to him before he was born. She was
She
talking
definitely
about
did.
him.
She told us he was coming,
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
we, we trusted her.
yeah. Our
She very
babies
much
know.
trust.
They know. She was definitely connected to him before he was here.
Yeah,
How
the ve
wonderful.
the veil is much thinner with these young ones.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. Natasha, thank you so much for coming here and sharing this with me, with our followers. I really hope that people that have watched this can hear how beautiful it is, and it is possible. Like you said earlier, we're not here to say do this free birth or home birth. When that's not what either of us want to tell anyone ever. We would never dream of that. But it is possible. It is
Mm.
possible. Anyone can do it, but it's whether or not it feels right for them, isn't it? Of course,
Yeah.
and with the
Well,
right
yeah.
support.
My free birthday was accidental as well, right? It wasn't meant to go that way. I was meant to have Angela there.
Yeah, yeah,
But because we have prepared to have that knowledge for a free birth, it didn't feel stressful. It
yeah.
didn't feel like a panic.
I
And I
I
think,
say to
yeah,
people so often. Sorry, I say to people so often. Working with a doula or a birth keeper, it's not just about them being at the birth. It's the whole relationship throughout. It's the
yeah,
support they give you throughout, the
yeah,
conversations you have, the education, the trust, the knowing that love is there and
yeah,
on its way, even if she's not there at the time,
yeah,
on
yeah.
her way to see you. It's not just someone being at the birth, it's the whole everything that comes with that.
I mean, I did even say that with Angela because it must feel weird when someone pays you to be at the birth and you don't even make it there. And I
Mm,
said to her, we're not just paying you to be at the birth, like
mm,
like we pay for that whole pregnancy experience. You're always there on the end of the phone, any information, and then the way that you hold space for Joe, like that's what
yeah,
I mainly have her there for, is so that he can relax and he can be who I need him to be
yeah, yeah.
when I'm in labor.
Yeah, you don't want him to be having to watch everything that's going on in the room, taking care of if you've got a pool, topping up the water and all that
Yeah,
palaver. You don't
yeah,
you don't want him to be doing that necessarily. You want him to
yeah,
just be there, focusing on you, holding you, kissing you,
yeah.
touching you, or doing nothing, but just locking eyes with you.
That's it,
And
that's
then
it. And
someone
it's
else
just
can
that
do the stuff.
knowledge. Yeah, and just knowing that you have this like fountain of knowledge right there with you is everything that we need, because if we were to need anything else, if there was an emergency, I've always said we're in a country with a great emergency system put in
Absolutely.
place. And I live in the city centre, so I'm like, come on,
Oh, you're fine.
I'm
Yeah.
very close. um and I know that she is wise enough to see signs,
Hmm.
rather than wait for things to tip over the edge. So
Yeah.
and trusting in her is what we needed. You need to have someone that you trust, and that can only happen when you know them longer,
Amen.
like throughout your pregnancy.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Natasha, thank you so much. Again, I'm so honoured that you've chosen to do this with me, to share your story with my followers, your
Yeah,
followers, and anyone that watches this back. I will tag you underneath,
Yeah.
so that people, if they're local to you, because obviously you're offering
Yeah. Yeah.
in-person support, not at birth, but you're offering in-person prenatal yoga. If anyone wants to work with you, then they can obviously come and give you a follow,
Yeah.
send you a message. I think it'd be wonderful for any
Yeah.
pregnant women to come work with you in your area. It would be a dream. I wish I had someone like you when I was pregnant, but I wish I knew a lot then and I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
There's so much more I
Well,
wish I'd known.
well, thank you for doing the work that you're doing now.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Oh, it's an honour.
it can't just be one of us. You know, we need more of
Yeah,
us doing this.
yeah. And like you said earlier, we can't just fight the system and concentrate, or putting all our energy into trying to open people's eyes and wake them up to, the possibilities of what can go wrong or what can go right. I've given up all of that, and all I'm doing now is exactly what you said, just staying local with the people that want to work with me, the people that want to know,
That's it.
concentrating on supporting my daughters, so that
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
grow up to be the women that feel, empowered like you did through your birth.
Yeah.
So that's
And
how we
just
do it.
the more positive birth stories that start to come out there into the open,
Yeah.
the more that we can change that rhetoric, and we can change people's views on birth, and eventually people will realize that it's not luck.
No way is it luck. No way. I always say you're lucky if you have a baby in a hospital and it goes right. That's luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where you take
Yeah.
your chances.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Please do
You
send me
too.
that picture.
Yeah, no, I will do.
Love
I'll
to
do it
see
right
that.
now.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Take care,
Thank you, my
Natasha.
love. Bye
Love to you
bye.
all. Thanks everyone for
Bye.
watching. Bye.